AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Matt Flynn will join us in about 15 minutes. We will get some takeaways from the Senior Bowl. John Brady next hour. Mark Schlereth in hour number 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
LSU basketball is not a topic we have often led with here, but we're going to today because you might have hit this inflection point in the program last evening. I was not so bullish as to say that LSU was going to go on a run or was going to make the tournament or anything like that. But we did talk yesterday because as improbable as it seemed it was still possible. LSU going into last night had a net ranking of 46. They were at 13 wins with 11 conference games to play in the tournament. You have some winnable games ahead, but they had to win yesterday. And not only did they not win, they lost on their home floor and got run off their home floor by a Mississippi State team that came into yesterday with a net ranking of 106 and had lost 5 in a row. And LSU was a 7.5-point favorite in that game. And so for all intents and purposes, it is not even remotely possible to imagine a scenario where LSU could make the NCAA tournament. As a matter of fact, Matt McMahon was asked about that after the loss on Wednesday night.
I think the focus for us has to be short term is how do we fix our start here tonight? How do we show improvement on the defensive side of the ball from the three-point line? And then ultimately, you got to be able to score. So, we got to really get back and focus on getting our team better. I think when you get in these tough stretches, the only way forward is to stick together. It's easy to separate and start blaming and making excuses and complaining in a locker room. I think you have to keep everyone tight and connected and find ways to get better and just focus on the next opportunity.
It's an embarrassing loss, and Matt McMahon's days would seem numbered. I think most LSU fans feel that, and the reason you bring up the NCAA tournament as a benchmark is not because it's something that I've said. It's what Verge Osbury said. Verge did an interview, the athletic director, did an interview with the Advocate a few weeks ago where he said if they didn't make the tournament, quote, we'll have to reevaluate. I mean, that's Verge Osbury saying it, not me. So very clearly now you can look and say this team is not going to make an NCAA tournament run, so it'll be 4 years under Matt McMahon not making the tournament. So what do you do? And I think what they maybe should do and what they will do, however, are going to be very different, because I feel like today, for the most point this season, there's been this bubbling up reactionary effect, so as to say that people are ready for a change within this program. But what might disappoint you is I don't know that that's actually going to happen. I'll get to that in a second. I mean, there is listen, I say often I'm not a fire the coach guy. I don't think it's my job to sit here and pound the table and say they got to fire this guy. I'll give you opinions, and my opinion is after 4 years, Matt McMahon should have done more. A year ago, I was very much okay with not firing Matt McMahon, with retaining him and instead taking that money and investing it into the roster. Well, they did that. They invested that money in this roster, and you're 1-7 in the league. So you haven't seen an improvement from a year ago. 4 years in, you've made one NIT. You're 15-47 in the SEC in 3+ years under Matt McMahon. 15-47 in the league. Just, he took over a terrible situation with sanctions looming and all that sort of stuff. But 4 years in, you just haven't seen progress. But here's why it might not happen. The reality is resources are finite. And if you look at what it would cost to buy out Matt McMahon and his staff, McMahon would be around $7.5 million to buy out the final 3 years of his deal. You'd have to buy out the rest of his staff. So that would push you close to about $10 million to buy out Matt McMahon and his staff. And then you would have to hire a new coach, new staff. Oh, yeah, and you got to pay the roster, too. And that in and of itself doesn't seem overwhelming. But in the context of the football investment that you just made, it compounds everything because this football investment has been massive. You're paying Brian Kelly a $54 million buyout. You agreed to pay Lane Kiffin $91 million. You already had a heavy football staff investment. You have increased that. Blake Baker's making $3 million a year. Charlie Weiss Jr. is making $2.5 million. They have added more staffers, more analysts. I'm told they've increased their recruiting budget, their travel budget. I mean, everything has gone up. They've given Lane Kiffin everything they wanted. And oh, by the way, that doesn't even include the more than $40 million that they have committed to this football roster. I do not have the final exact number because as I peel back some of the layers, I understand that some of these deals are structured where they do have incentives, so there could be escalators, but they will spend more than $40 million on this football roster in 2026. Oh, by the way, you're also paying Kim Mulkey nearly $4 million a year. Jay Johnson got a raise after winning the national championship. You have to pay those rosters as well. You know, there was an appetite to move on from Brian Kelly. Therefore, the money followed. I'm not sure you have that same energy for men's basketball. And I'd ask it to you this way. Even if you do make the change, let's say you fire Matt McMahon, you bring in someone new. Do you really think, and I don't have the answer to this. I guess it depends on who the coach is, but does hiring a new coach mean that immediate fan investment and money will follow? You hire a new coach and all of a sudden, boom, here come ticket sales. You're selling premium seats. You're selling out the PMAC. You're going to win. All of a sudden, you're going to start packing out the Maravich Center. I don't know that I necessarily believe that's the case. I think you have to win in order to get that to follow. Now, I know people keep asking about Will Wade, so let me just address that. Like, that's not happening, okay? If that was going to happen, you would have had to do it a year ago, and I think we all know the story by now. But Will Wade signed a $17 million contract over 6 years at NC State. He's at a school that actually cares about basketball, so he wouldn't come back here to begin with. You would have to buy him out of his contract there, which would cost over $5 million to buy out Will Wade, to then in turn pay him here. So his contract escalates to about $3.25 a year. He wouldn't come for the same amount of money. So would you pay him $4.5 a year? Like it's just not a realistic thing. Like Will Wade's not leaving NC State to come back. So before anyone asks, please flush that idea down the toilet. That's not happening. So my question is, can you afford it? But the other side of the coin is, can you afford not to make a change? Because men's basketball is one of two sports on campus that makes money. It's football and men's basketball. And the longer you allow men's basketball to be irrelevant, it is a gross missed opportunity to maximize revenue. And there's plenty of places that prove you can be good in football and men's basketball. Florida, Bama, Auburn. I mean, they're proving you can make an investment in both and be successful. You just got to hit on the right coach and get the right players, and LSU just has not been able to do that. So I know there's a lot of people who think it's cut and dried, that the Matt McMahon era is going to be over after this year. I'm here to tell you that some of the conversations I had today made it pretty clear. I'm not saying definitively. I'm not I'm not saying definitively Matt McMahon will be back, but I am saying definitively that decision has not been made, and I don't think it's as cut and dried as some may think. Tigers got another opportunity to go on the road to South Carolina this weekend. We'll see if they can get one. 1-7 in the conference. And, man, any path to the postseason right now is a pretty steep climb. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. It's carnival season, y'all. You're going to be out at Mardi Gras parades. Make sure your ice chest is full of delicious, ice-cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. We got Carnival Cru de Louisiana tomorrow. I'll be the Grand Marshal in that. I'm going to have some whiskey, no doubt. I'll have some whiskey, but you better believe my ice chest will have Evermore and Bud Light in it as well. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light this Carnival. If you're getting ready for the Super Bowl a week from Sunday, whatever it is, you're going to be at the Maravich Center watching gymnastics or men's or women's basketball. Make sure you drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. Hester and Flynn have been in Mobile all week for the Senior Bowl, so can't wait to get Matt Flynn's takeaways on what he saw out at practice these past few days in Mobile, get an idea on how the LSU guys did as well. We'll do that when we continue here. Stay with us. It's a Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, complete employer solutions. You know, one of the reasons people love working with Glow is they're fun. Go into their office and you'll get it. Beautiful office, by the way. Their corporate headquarters is on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. It's Perkins and Quail Oak. It's right near Pennington on Perkins, if you're not familiar. Gorgeous facility, did a gut renovation of that building. And when you walk in, you'll understand just how much fun they like to have there by the way that they decorated. I mean, there's like a graffiti wall on the first floor. It's like a graffiti art wall on the first floor. Everything about that whole building is just gorgeous the way that they did it. You walk in, you can tell these are fun people to work with. But they're serious about what they do at Glow Resources. And what they do is help you find the right people, permanent solutions for your business to make you the most profitable and efficient that you can be. So if it's skilled blue-collar labor, if you need any type of office job, you need Glow Resources. Anywhere in the world, GLO, glowresources.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
All right, Senior Bowl will wrap up this weekend in Mobile. Hester and Flynn, the guys from OTB, have been there all week doing their shows, hitting the practices. Matt Flynn's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Yo, dude, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Grant, how you doing? I just drove back in, just got into town. So.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask.
I'm back.
I was going to ask if you made it back yet. So, all right, first time there at the Senior Bowl. Give me, what was your biggest pullback 10,000-foot view overarching takeaway from the Senior Bowl experience?
Yeah, like you said, first time there. I was, I really enjoyed it. It was a really cool deal. They did a great job hosting. The people that run the Senior Bowl did a really good job hosting. But just to, obviously the highlight is being at practice. And practice was a ton of fun, man. It was a lot of scouts, a lot of people, of course, hundreds of scouts, it seemed like, from all over. All the big names you could think of when it comes to GMs walking around and the intensity of practice, man. It was fun. Of course, I was kind of all eyes on the LSU guys who have so far have had a really good showing this week.
All right, let's start there because I think Nuss is the first one everyone is going to talk about. So first time that Nuss has actually done football-adjacent things since the Alabama game. Mm-hmm. So, all right, tell me what you thought.
I was impressed with Nuss so far. Like all six of the quarterbacks actually definitely belong there. And Nuss certainly belongs there. We had a conversation, I think the first morning we were there. We did our show Monday. We had a conversation with Drew Fabianich, who runs the Senior Bowl, longtime NFL scout. I think this is his first year running the Senior Bowl. And, he talked about Nuss's journey, how you can't unsee the good, certainly, that he's had in the past, and understanding that I think he's got a sentiment of a lot of the NFL scouts is they understand that he was fighting through some stuff. This was, you can't unsee the good, certainly can't unsee the bad, but he said at no point during the season did he ever think about taking Garrett Nussmeier off the invite list. And certainly Garrett's proven that this week, and he's as good or better than any of the quarterbacks there, throwing the ball really well. I think I think Alondra took a picture yesterday that she posted on the scoreboard from after day one of practice. I think Garrett Nussmeier had the longest pass air yards and the fastest pass out of the hand. So certainly spinning it well, moving in the pocket well, looks comfortable too. And a couple of quarterbacks, Diego for the national team, Garrett on the American team, that looked like they're like kind of taking charge of getting guys in and out of the huddle, getting people in the right places. And it was cool to see that. But certainly, man, he belongs there, and he's acting like it, and has made a lot of plays and a lot of nice throws.
Was there any conversation? Like, I don't know if you had any chats with any of the NFL folks there. Like, aside from Drew, was there any conversation about Garrett that y'all had, just maybe like off to the side with anybody?
Not in too much depth. Just talking about like, what do you think about him? And I think he's pretty highly thought of. Now, what does that mean for his draft stock? Like, what kind of round can you expect him? It's going to be really in the eye of the beholder. I think there's going to be maybe a couple of quarterbacks taken in the earlier rounds, but I really think there's probably going to be a gap and a drought of quarterbacks taken kind of in those early mid rounds, and then a run of them later in the draft. So I don't know where he falls. He's certainly at times, and we were all, we saw this year. You can't unsee that either.
Yeah.
But it's at times we're like, man, I don't know if this guy's going to get drafted. But I think he has a chance. I think the sentiment this week from a lot of the scouts that I talked to was, there's nobody here that has more to prove than Garrett Nussmeier, and more to gain from this week. And he's been off to a good start.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Matt Flynn is with us there from the Senior Bowl. What about the other LSU guys? Anybody else really stand out?
Darion Brown, man, he's had a nice from the two practices that I watched. He's had a nice week so far. Certainly very highly thought of in the return game. Of course, what he's done at LSU, but man, the guy's fast, and that's a double fast, man. He's he's working hard. I mean, everybody's giving their best effort out there, but every time he touched the ball, whether it was just like a warm-up individual punt return drill, it's not even a live drill. Like, he's taking it 80 yards to the house and running as fast as he can to show off his speed a little bit, because if you got it, you got to flaunt it a little bit. And he was letting everybody out there know that he's got some jets, and he looked good, and he's routing people up. Him and Aaron Anderson both have had some really nice periods in one-on-one drills. Not a lot of opportunities like in the team portion and 7-on-7 portion that some of the other receivers have gotten some deep balls and chances to make some high points and balls and make some contested catches like in those team drills. But in the one-on-ones, man, they're really showing out. And it kind of makes you kind of shake your head as an LSU fan, because you got a quarterback there, you got 3 wide receivers there, and you had a terrible offense this past year. So, I guess what could have been.
It's, Matt, we talked about it before the season. I said the greatest referendum on this team will come in the draft, because there will very likely have double-digit guys drafted. And we're going to look back and go, how in the world this team goes 7-6? But we'll shake our heads and hopefully better days ahead. But hopefully the best for all these guys, too. Hey, I also wanted to ask, I know Scott Tolzien, who was your teammate in Green Bay, as the Saints quarterbacks coach, he's going to interview. I saw today he's going to get an interview for an OC job with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So clearly a rising star. He's one of the coaches there this week. What's your big takeaways watching Tolzien there as the OC this week?
Yeah, I was watching it pretty close. I had some conversations off air with him as well. I mean, he's a guy that I've stayed in touch with a long time. I was in the quarterback room with him for 2 years. So it's a great dude. He's one of those guys when I was playing with him that you always kind of knew, like, yeah, he's going to be a coach. Like, that's his destiny. He loves the game like that. He loves the X's and O's points. He loves breaking film down. You could just tell he was going to be a coach. And so, of course, he was in Green Bay with me, with Mike McCarthy, and all had they had a really cool relationship. And I believe McCarthy might have even given him his coaching start with the Cowboys. So I think there's certainly some coaching prior history there. I think Tolzien might have even been the quarterback coach. I might have my timeline messed up a little bit there, but
I think that's right.
He was there when I think he might have been the quarterback coach when Kellen Moore was the OC for Mike McCarthy. So it makes a lot of sense that Mike McCarthy would certainly reach out. And this week, we said it. Well, a lot of these coaches this week, Joel Thomas getting to be the head coach, and Scott getting to be an offensive coordinator for this week. I think that's a big opportunity for them to kind of step out their comfort zone, and whatever their coaching aspirations are, they're getting a chance to kind of be the guy and be the leader. And Scott's a good dude, and I believe, I hadn't been in the room with him, of course, but I believe a really good coach and definitely a rising star.
Was there any other, and Matt Flynn's our guest, just here for another minute or two, was there any other takeaways from the Saints crew that was there, either watching the coaches, talking to any of the front office people, Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland spoke? Any storyline pop there for the Saints?
No, I didn't get the chance to have any conversations with Mickey or Jeff Ireland. Just the scheduling. I was trying to catch them at some point here and there. But whatever happened, I couldn't get with them. But I was watching some of the bigger receivers, because we've talked about it on the morning show a lot. Like, what kind of who would you like to see the Saints kind of go early in an early round, and just trying to surround Tyler Shuck with weapons. I mean, you got Tyler Shuck, you got your quarterback. That's the biggest domino. That's the biggest domino that has to fall. So make sure that domino hits some other dominoes. So you got Chris Olave, who's about to sign for whatever $30 million or whatever a year he's going to get, but he lacks a certain skill set that you would like to have. And certainly there was some standouts at practice. The Notre Dame kid, Malachi Fields, he's 6'4". He looked really, really good. The same can be said for Jacoby Lane, the kid out of USC, wide receiver. He's a little bit over 6'4". Also, the Texas Tech receivers looked really good. The bigger one, Caleb Douglas, he's just under 6'4". So I think if you're the Saints, you'd like to see them surround Shuck with a lot of weapons and kind of give you some sort of skill set for a pass catcher that Olave doesn't have. Olave can route you up, and when you have to have it, he can beat you one-on-one. But you certainly like to have a big body guy that you can just throw it up to, and he can win a physical battle one-on-one. So those are the things that I was looking at, and I was watching them pretty intently, and they were rep after rep. They were winning their battles, winning their one-on-one matches.
Do we lose Matt, or are you still there? Are you there? Oh, we might have lost.
Yep.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Hey,
yep.
No, you're good. Real quick, last thing. Go a little deeper there if you would. This may sound obvious, but from a quarterback's perspective, why is it important to have a big receiver?
Red zone's like the obvious answer there. Red zone, because there's a lot of quarterbacks that make a lot of hay with back shoulder throws, contested throws. I think Olave's kind of proven that that's not his strength. Maybe he can do that, but I don't think he's consistently high pointing the ball, catching it over somebody, physically winning. So when you get into the red zone and you have a 3-by-1 set, you would like the guy on your backside. You'd like to keep Olave in the slot, I believe, and then you have a guy backside. So if they're dropping a safety down weak and they're giving you a one-on-one matchup, you have to take it, because that means the numbers aren't right on the other side, on the three receiver set. So it's a comfort level for a quarterback to know that if they're taking away the numbers to the strong side of the field, that you can go and you have a guy that can win a one-on-one battle. And I think Shuck has that kind of gunslinger mentality, has a really good arm. I think that is something that he would thrive with, is having a big body receiver.
Matt Flynn, good stuff, dude, all week, man. I enjoyed listening to the coverage, man. Great job. We appreciate you for taking the call today, man.
Yeah, Matt. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You do the same. That is Matt Flynn. Catch Matt and Jake weekday mornings off the bench, 7 to 10. Again, they were there at Mobile. They don't do the show the last day because the practices are over, and they don't stay for the game on Saturday. So they did the show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then came back after the show. So Matt was just saying that they're just rolling back into town. So great stuff, man. If you missed any of their convos, I know they got to talk to a one-on-one with a lot of the LSU guys, and he interviewed the receiver from John Carroll today. His name's slipping my mind, but what a great story that was, that guy. Yeah, what?
Tyron Montgomery.
Dude, what a great story. I mean, I didn't know he was a basketball player who never played football until his basketball career was over, and he's telling a story about playing with his brother in the backyard. His brother told him he should go try to play football, so he's from Houston, try to walk on at the University of Houston, but didn't have any more eligibility, so he ends up at Nichols and then went to John Carroll in Division III. Crazy story, and he tore it up this week. So good interview. If you want to catch any of the stuff from the guys, you can catch it. It's all on demand, off the bench, on demand, YouTube podcast. I think they got a lot of those interviews posted on on Twitter as well, and Facebook, the full interviews if you want to check them out. So great job by Jake and Matt this week over there. Check out their coverage if you missed any of it. We are brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, evamore.com. I rolled over to Rouse's on Florida Boulevard just a bit ago around lunch. I grabbed me the little Asian, I love the Asian beef bowl at Rouse's. Well, this isn't a Rouse's ad. It's an Evamore ad, but I might as well be the same. And so I got my Asian beef bowl, and then I got a bottle, a 64-ounce bottle of Evermore because I was out of it in my office. So I tell you, I really do drink it. I drink it every day and highly encourage you to do the same. When it's cold outside, sometimes we forget to stay hydrated because we're not parched. But, man, it is so important that you stay hydrated. And Evermore is natural artesian water. Y'all, this is a natural artesian well on the North Shore Lake Pontchartrain in Covington. They built the bottling facility around the well. So when you go through the entrance to the Evermore plant, like you pass the well right there that they pipe into. They pull the water out, goes right into the bottle. So you're drinking a truly natural product. And you may think, bottled water is what? No, it's not. Read the label. You will see other things added or taken away for flavor. It's none of that. This is just a truly natural product, which is better for you. Go read the reviews. Try it yourself. Do a taste test. It's Evermore. EVAMOR. Evamore.com. Evamore.com. All right, it's after further review. We will go around the SEC when we come back. Speaking of the Senior Bowl and Nuss, Garrett Nussmeier is turning some heads this week, and he's starting to garner a lot of conversation. We'll get to that. Alex Golesh talked about tampering in light of Dabo outing Pete Golding. Get to that in a little bit. The Hall of Fame has released a statement about Bill Belichick's snub. My goodness, a ton to do. John Brady's here in 45 minutes. Talk about the LSU basketball mess. Mark Schlereth will be here in hour 3, 3-time Super Bowl champion. So a ton to do on the show. We're glad you're hanging out with us. It's AFR.
After further review.
Okay, so we've started the thaw out a bit. So it is a great day to get by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, Segan Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. I also tell you every day that at Clegg's they get new shipments arriving every day. Like this is one that they posted on Facebook earlier today. It's fruit tree time, peaches, peach trees, 5-gallon peach trees, $32.99. Go check out this photo and just look at the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of peach trees that they have in this photo. When I tell you selection, they're the best. The best selection, locally grown, they're locally operated. It's Clegg's Nursery. And if you want to plant a fruit tree, you've got to get it in the ground now. So get by and see our friends. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
So last week, Dabo Swinney set the world on fire with his inflammatory, accusatory press conference where he had the receipts. Didn't hold nothing back. So a lot of people are reacting to it. Alex Golesh, who, of course, left South Florida, is now the head coach at Auburn. He's over at the Senior Bowl, and he kind of talked a little bit about tampering and sort of the state of the state with tampering right now.
I think it's all relative, like we used to talk about at the Group of 5 level, like, man, people are going to come get our kids. Well, look at who's in front of the podium right now complaining about it. Like the level's irrelevant. It truly is all relative to where you are. It's been going on for a really long time. This portal era amplified it in every imaginable way. There eventually needs to be guardrails on this thing. I think we all want guardrails. I think we all want to know the rules in which you can operate in. The truth is right now there aren't any. So you operate ethically as with what you feel like is right.
I don't disagree with any of that. And I think the more coaches and people in positions of authority that are willing to speak up will be the thing that affects change. And again, I'm okay. Like tampering happens. I think what we all talk about is sort of the quote unquote legal tampering. I know it's the way I've referenced it, just as a way to make it easy because there's a legal tampering period in the NFL. So where it seems like an oxymoron to say legal tampering, but before the league year starts, there's a set period of time where teams can negotiate with free agents. So when the league year starts, boom, they announce deals. It's similar here. I've said it a bunch, but that whole month from the end of the season leading up to the portal window opening, so all throughout December, you hear all these players announce their intention to go in the portal. Well, go look at all these guys on social media. All of them in their bio have their agent tagged or their agency tagged in their Twitter, their Instagram bio. And it's basically just sending out a flare to the college football world saying, hey, I'll be in the portal. If you're interested, contact my agent, start negotiating a deal. So that happens. Now, what's happened here with the linebacker, the Cal linebacker who had gone to Clemson, it's different because he had signed and he was already at Clemson, and so he's enrolled, and then you got a coach texting him in class and all that sort of stuff, as we know. And again, I think we all assume that happens at a lot of different places. But the guardrails you put up, as Alex Golesh was talking about, is what Washington did and the Big Ten did with Damon Williams. They were more progressive with the contract structure they had in place that made it that disincentivized teams from trying to come pluck Damon Williams because it was going to cost so much. Now, Miami did it with Darian Mensah because they need a quarterback. They were left without really an option. They missed on all the other top guys. So then they go tamper with Darian Mensah. They're going to pay Duke $4 million, whatever it is, to get him out of that contract, and then they're going to pay Darian Mensah. So it's just that's the cost of doing business. But it's why you put protections in. You either disincentivize someone from hiring your coach, or in this case, tampering with your player and getting him away, or if they do, there's going to be a penalty, and you will be compensated financially for that. So that really is the guardrail. And then student athletes are going to have to make a decision. Do I really want to sign a contract with this team that will preclude me, make it cost prohibitive for me from leaving? Well, do you want the deal or not? I mean, that's what I think the next iteration of this is. Golesh was asked to follow up, like, okay, well, if you have to do what's right, well, what is right? Define that.
Is it right to call a kid that's on somebody else's roster to go get him? It's not. I think in a lot of ways what goes around comes around. In the fall, you got to go line up and play. And I'm a strong believer in the football gods will find you at some point. And generally they'll find you at the end of a game, or they'll find you on 4th and 1. And I think you got to do things the right way. And the right way is doing right by the young people and doing right by your program. But the pressure to win is great. And people feel it in different ways, and so I'm not here to judge anybody else's decisions on how they operate, but you would love to have some guardrails within the system, and I think maybe as I establish myself in this conference, I'll have more vocal opinions. Right now, I'm just the new guy on the block.
The more conversation is good, and the more people are willing to talk about it, the more we can progress through all this. That's just Alex Golesh's take there. Hey, we're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Always tell you can log on to the website, firstsouthland.com. Busy time of year at First South Farm Credit. And they do have the complete recreational land buyer's guide. It's a totally free resource over at firstsouthland.com. So if you're thinking of buying land, that recreational property, the first thing you should do is go utilize that free resource at their website to learn what you need to know. It's the ultimate recreational land buying guide. It's free. It's at firstsouthland.com. So log on to firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
Texas is expected to hire Kevin Mashack as their new director of scouting. Matt Zenitz had that first. He was Tennessee State's director of recruiting. Now look like he's going over Mashack. Fill the void left by Aaron Joe, who is now headed to be the GM at North Texas. Mashack is veteran college football personnel on-field staffer. He spent time at Texas A&M, at Indiana as well.
The Florida Gators.
Florida is targeting Drew Hughes for a front office role. Hughes spent the last 2 years as the Panini Senior Bowl scouting staff director. So it's his second role in an NFL capacity. 3 years prior, he had been with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before working at the pro level, he'd been a player personnel guy at Florida under Jim McElwain and Will Muschamp. He's also been at UCF, North Carolina State, Tennessee, South Carolina. So all over the place. Looks like he's joining the staff there with the Gators.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri added to its 2026 high school signing class with in-state safety Graham Faust, 6'3", 190, has played offense, defense, special teams, but really where he stands out is at safety. He's the number 26 player in Missouri for the class of 2026, and he's headed to Mizzou.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And the game there in Nashville between Vandy and Ole Miss has been moved amid the impacts of this winter storm. So it's the game that's scheduled for Saturday. It struck struck Oxford over the weekend. It was originally scheduled to be played at Ole Miss. Will now take place in Nashville against Vanderbilt. So it's supposed to be a home-and-home arrangement this season, so the SEC is just going to swap the two dates. This Saturday will be played in Nashville, and then on March the 4th, Vanderbilt will travel to Oxford and play the game there at Ole Miss. Okay, there you have it. That is around the SEC. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Blasia posted a video yesterday on their social media. It was her walking you through their office for their B12 clinic. So every Wednesday, they have a B12 clinic where if you want to go get a B12 shot, you could do it at the clinic every Wednesday. And so if you're ever curious, like, okay, well, what does all that entail? The office, by the way, the Decision Critical office is on Highland Road near I-10, sort of across and a little bit north of the Country Club of Louisiana. So if you're heading north on Highland, like toward LSU's campus, past Country Club on your left, and there just a little ways there on the right. Well, Blaze, just sort of walk-ins are welcome to the B12 clinic. You can always schedule a time and appointment if you want, but it's super easy. You go check in, you go into the B12 room. They give you a shot in the arm. B12 has so many amazing health benefits. Just one of the many different ways that Decision Critical offers great healthcare services to all of us. It's not just healthcare; it's healthcare for your lifestyle. Of course, there's the B12 clinic. There's IV hydration therapy. There's therapeutic phlebotomy if you have to give blood. That's great for men on hormone therapy. And as we always say, from birth to end of life care, if you need expert nursing help, they can help you in your home, at the hospital, wherever it may be. It's Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, decisioncriticalbr.com, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, it's after further review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Well, now I got a quick break. John Brady is going to be here in 30 minutes. Talk about this very disappointing LSU basketball season, sort of where the team and the program go from here. And Mark Schlereth will be here in hour number 3. Talk some Super Bowl with Stink. When we come back, Hall of Fame has released a statement on Bill Belichick. We'll react to that. And Garrett Nussmeier is starting to do what many thought he might do, which is turn some heads and get some conversation, which might elevate him up draft boards. We'll talk about it next on AFR.
After further review.
I just mentioned therapeutic phlebotomy for men on hormone replacement therapy, which is very common. I give blood every 6 to 8 weeks for that reason. But that starts by being on hormone therapy. So if you're a man or a woman who is interested in learning more about HRT, remember Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Matt, women, you said it's a men's clinic. It is. But they're at Goodwood, and they're right on Drusilla. It's 3 different offices in one complex. There's Goodwood, which is the men's clinic. There's Unique Physique. That's the GLP-1s, semaglutide, tirzepatide, lowest prices, never any contracts. And they also have Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. And that is the aesthetics clinic where they also offer hormone replacement therapy for women. Ladies, strongly recommend you get your levels checked as well. Men and women. You want to feel and function at your optimal level. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame's released a statement after all the media reports that Bill Belichick will not be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on his first year on the ballot. The Hall of Fame released a statement. I'll read it quickly. It said, the Pro Football Hall of Fame understands and respects the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the Hall itself in light of published reports regarding the voting results of Class of 2026. It's that very passion that propels the game. The Hall also respects the members of the selection committee when they follow the selection process bylaws. It is an honor to serve as a selector. Each year, the Hall reviews the selection process and the composition of the 50-person selection committee. If it is determined that any member or members violated the selection process bylaws, they understand action will be taken. That can include the possibility that such selectors would not remain a member of the committee moving forward. The selection of new class is the most important duty the Hall of Fame oversees each year, and the integrity of that process cannot be in question. Okay, so it is possible that a member or members of the selection committee could be removed if they did not properly follow the selection bylaws. But clearly, the Hall of Fame isn't going to overturn any vote to get Bill Belichick in here in the inaugural year. There is one voter who is the first voter who has sort of spoken up to acknowledge that he did not vote for Bill Belichick. And I thought it was interesting because the explanation was a very, very sound and just one. He said he wasn't voting against Bill Belichick. You put three on your ballot. It was a vote for these other three that he feels deserve enshrinement that are waiting their turn and may not have an opportunity based on the number of years you're allowed to be on the ballot. So, and probably an explanation and understanding that like you just think Belichick's going to get in, so I'm not going to put him on my ballot. And it's interesting because I actually can relate to that because I had the opportunity to vote for the last 2 years for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and in some instances, it is similar. Like if there is, because there are no doubt candidates that you go in supporting their election, and the way the process votes in the different voting blocks, like at some point you're going to cut the list from the bottom, and so you want to make sure the candidate that you're supporting gets in, so you're going to favor them. Like, so for example, I think this year, like Sylvia Fowles was like the no doubter for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Like Sylvia was getting in, and I really wanted to support Todd McClure this year, and so on my first ballot, like I don't even know, like it was, you put 5 on your ballot, so maybe I had Sylvia in the 5th spot, which would have been 1 point, right? In the first spot would be 5 points, and decreasing it makes sense. So because Sylvia's gonna, like, it's not even a question she's gonna get in, but you have to make sure if there's someone that you want to get in, you have them at a point where they're being recognized, they stay above sort of the cut line, so to speak. So I can understand that thought process. That's understandable. But I also think that's why it's good that there's transparency, or there should be transparency in the voting process, because it would dissuade people from doing something disingenuous, like if someone kept Bill Belichick out because of Bountygate or Spygate, or not Bountygate, Spygate or Deflategate, or whatever the case may be. If someone like Pauline said, well, he should have to wait a year. Well, if you feel that way, then you should verbalize that publicly so we know you feel that way, and that's why this vote went the way it did. Because the committee's, the Hall of Fame statement is right. The integrity of the Hall of Fame is the most important thing. Like, you don't want people questioning the Hall of Fame or its processes because of something like this. So it's a very negative thing that's transpired. So I'll be interested to see if more voters, it was a Kansas City voter. See if we can find his name. Here it is. It was the first. His name is, it's from the KC Star. Vahe Gregorian is his name. Vahe Gregorian is his name. He's a voter from the Kansas City Star. And he's the one to explain. His vote was for, in his statement, he explained, he voted for Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, and L.C. Greenwood. So he said, he felt duty-bound to cast his vote for senior candidates who were looking at possibly their last chance of getting into the Hall. So that's why it wasn't a vote against Belichick. It was a vote for those senior candidates. So that I can understand and respect. But it's also good that you have that transparency. So hopefully it does continue in that light, and you do have more transparency as this moves along. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We are brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com. Hey, with all the outages in the region over the past week with the ice storm, it's a great reminder about Arco Power Systems. Everything is turnkey. This is industrial Generac generator power. This is not a standby generator for your home. It's an industrial Generac generator for your business, your commercial or industrial facility. Schools, hospitals, grocery stores, gas stations, industrial facilities, municipalities, whatever type of business you own, media companies, radio stations, power goes out, you have to stay online. How do you do it? Well, you do it with industrial standby generators from Arco Power Systems. Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. And again, draw a big circle. Little Rock, Mobile, west to San Antonio, Baton Rouge, draw a big circle. Anywhere in that footprint, Arco can serve you. Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. All right, so after further review, a lot of you have asked, and because we missed Terrio last week, and we're not going to have Terrio tomorrow, I'll start delving into a little bit of a baseball preview. We'll start with the LSU baseball pitching preview when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
I mean, go check out our social, if you would, over at Parish Construction and Roofing. I tell you all the time, of course, we do roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential, but we also do gutters and soft wash. And we can soft wash any size building. As a matter of fact, we're thrilled that we got the opportunity over at LSU to do several different projects. Patrick F. Taylor, we did that building. There's some photos up of the second round of soft washing over at LSU that our crews just recently finished. And if you zoom in, you could see how dirty the building was there on the left, and that's before and after the soft wash. So we can soft wash your home, commercial building, any size. We'd love to help you out. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Commercial, residential, roof repairs, replacements, gutters, and yes, we do soft washing as well. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishbuilt.com.